Okay, now let's talk about money. How much will it cost you to actually turn your idea into a profitable business? And this is not a reason for you to give up, because you're probably thinking, well, the reason why I haven't really started my business is because I don't have money. Nope, not really. If you successfully do the things that we've just talked about, then it means you can convince somebody else to finance the business. They can come in as an investor. But still, the point here that I want you to take is that I probably mentioned it at some point. There are three important things in business. There is the operations. What exactly are you going to be doing? Okay? There is the marketing. How will people know that you exist? How will people know that your product exists and all that? But then doing those two require resources, in this case finance, because resource can be the human resource, or in this case financial resource, and you're talking about financial resource. So how much does it actually cost you to do that? Do you know your numbers? It's not really a question of whether you have the money or not. First of all, do you even know how much money you need? Because even if you go out there fundraising, okay, you're saving, take a loan, all that stuff. It doesn't really matter. If you don't know your numbers, then you're wasting time. So try and understand that. How are you going to price your product or service to ensure that you make profit? Remember, things like pricing your product, okay, which is part of revenue anyway, will depend on the business model that you're using at some point. So if you're using freemium, okay, part of it is free, then the premium people pay, there is that. If you're using the hook and bait model, like for instance, the people who sell printers where the printer is actually cheap, but the money is going to come from recurring sales of cartridges. So that could be the thing. Or you're just selling directly to your product, to your customers. Or like in the case of things like YouTube, where some people just assume, I'm going to make money using AdSense, okay? So if people watch my video, they don't skip the ad, I'll make some money. The point is, these are just models, but you really need to understand, in order for you to do that, in order for you to get to that point, you still need some sort of, finance. So how much will that cost you? So you need to understand that. You don't really have to be an accounting genius. You just need to know there is a cost of goods produced. Okay, look at something like profit. When you talk about profit, there is sales, there is less the cost of goods sold, and then that will probably give you gross profit, and then subtract other expenses, and then you have your net profit, and then, okay, maybe you pay tax, and then you have your net profit, okay, or profit after tax. But the point is, what is the cost of whatever it is that you're going to sell? What is the cost of producing that thing? How much does it cost you to make the service? How much does it cost you to make the product? Every other thing that you're going to talk about, marketing, all that stuff could cost you money. So do you really understand your finances? Do you have a budget? Okay? Do you have a financial plan is all I'm saying. So you need to come up with that one. In fact, it's an activity right now that you need to undertake. Make a list of the costs you will incur in your business. Okay, so make a list, and the list will also include the recurring costs. Okay, the costs that are going to be continuously occurring on a monthly basis. So the thing you have to understand about costs, you could have something like fixed costs. These are the costs that you're going to incur no matter what, like rent, okay? If you're using internet, you're probably going to pay for it monthly or whatever it is. Electricity, you're going to pay for that one, although some aspect of it is variable. And then you have the variable cost, the cost that will depend on the level of production. So you need to understand both of those costs. Okay, I'm assuming you're together. So also you need to understand at what point are you breaking even. And by break even, I mean at what point do your cost and your revenue kind of are the same. So you're not making a loss, you're not making a profit. And then the extra unit you sell then becomes profit. You need to understand that. If the cost of producing something is 500 and the money that you've made from selling that thing is also 500, well, there is a question of what about your profit, there is a question of what about your salary. So if all those ones have been incurred in the cost of production, then it means you are making money, you are able to pay rent, you are able to pay your staff if you do have staff, but you're not making any profit. That's a break-even point. So yeah, you need to understand all that aspects. I just don't want to bore you with unnecessary accounting details, but you remember those things do matter. You can't afford to ignore costs if you're going to make any profit, because profit is actually going to come from costs, okay? So again, the assignment, go ahead and make a list of costs you will incur as part of running this business. So you do that.